Welcome to my next Better Call Saul Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am at rewatching or watching Better Call Saul, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you out there that are wondering, I've already seen Better Call Saul one time all the way through. In fact, I did episode review videos of Season 6 of Better Call Saul. If you want to jump ahead a bit and hear my thoughts when the show is actually airing, you can click right here with about 20 seconds left to go in the video. That will be my Better Call Saul Season 6 episode review videos. And I'll put my Breaking Bad playlist down here. So this episode that I'm about to talk about is actually an episode that I fell asleep during when I initially watched the show. And for some reason never went back and watched like the last, I don't know how long it was, 15 to 20 minutes of it. So some of this was a first time watch for me, but I'm a big fan of the show. I think it's definitely on par with Breaking Bad. I don't know, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's better, but certainly it's a very well written and well done prequel series. But with all that said, this will be Better Call Saul Season 2 Episode 4. The title of this episode is called Gloves Off. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So, late in the evening, Mike enters his home. Pained, he stiffly makes his way to the kitchen, pulling a bag of frozen vegetables out of the freezer and pressing it to his face. As he slumps into a chair, he lowers the bag. His eye is swollen shut, and his face has been violently beaten by somebody. Mike reaches into his pocket and pulls out a silver necklace of a pair of boxing gloves. The morning following the broadcast of his Sandpiper commercial, Jimmy screens it for Cliff and two other partners at Davis and Maine. Despite Jimmy's assertion that the commercial yielded a positive response, the partners, lambast him for airing it without their consent. They are pissed. This is not the way that Davis and Maine does things. They've only aired one commercial before. They did not like that, that's for sure. Even though the majority of the partners want to fire Jimmy for a cause, Cliff decides to give him a second chance with the understanding that he'll be under greater scrutiny going forward. Jimmy leaves Kim an urgent voicemail asking that she call him before speaking to Howard Hamlin, unaware that she is already being grilled by him and Chuck about the commercial. Howard reprimands Kim for allowing HHH to be left in the dark in front of their co-counsel. Meanwhile, Mike and Nacho monitor a small Mexican restaurant where Tuco settles. So we got Tuco Salamanca back, settles accounts with his drug dealers and would be an ideal place for him to die in a random shooting. Nacho is willing to take such a measure because Tuco is prone to erratic behavior while under the influence. We know all about Tuco, sniffing things off at knives and how crazy he gets and tight! Yeah, to illustrate his point, Nacho recounts an incident where Tuco shot an associate point blank in the face with a shotgun, leaving a skull fragment lodged in Nacho's left shoulder. With Tuco now using meth, Nacho worries that his side business might make him Tuco's next victim. Mike points out flaws in Nacho's plan and proposes an alternate scenario. A sniper hiding in the tree across the line street. He offers to do it for $50,000. That night, Jimmy goes to HHM looking for Kim and finds her office bare. Initially fearing his actions cost Kim her job, he instead finds that she's been sent to HHM's document review room, the cornfield, that we kind of mentioned earlier. Jimmy is outraged that she is being punished for his actions and offers to make things right with Howard. Kim forbids him from intervening. It would only make things worse and threatens to break up if he does. So Jimmy's like, wait, so we're not broken up over this yet? She buries herself back in her work as Jimmy exits Chastain. And then at Chuck's house, Jimmy strides with determination toward the front door. He realizes that he forgot to remove his electronics and begrudgingly heads back to the mailbox. Why should he care? Chuck's been going out and about lately. When Chuck doesn't answer the door, Jimmy uses his key to enter the house. He finds Chuck shivering on the couch, still dressed for work and covered by a space blanket. He is suffering but refuses to go to the hospital. Jimmy gets him some water and tucks a space blanket around him, another one, and then settles into a nearby chair. Meanwhile, in a motel room, Mike meets with Lawson, an arms dealer who offers him a selection of long-range rifles. This is the same Lawson that Walter White had got the initial gun to try to kill Gus Fring from, and then he got the stuff from him at the beginning of season 5 of Breaking Bad, the car and the thing that he had in the trunk. But after Mike declines more options, Lawson puts forward a M40A1 rifle, the same rifle used by the Marine sniper since 1966. Mike picks it up with familiarity and looks through the scope. After some consideration, he tells the dealer that he's changed his mind and won't be making a purchase after all. Lawson respectfully declines Mike's offer of cash for his time because he didn't sell him a gun, which is kind of weird. I would say, well, I came here, so give me a couple $100 or something like that. I don't know. And then the next morning, Jimmy confronts Chuck about the Kim's punishment. Chuck initially insists that Howard is responsible for personal decisions. When Jimmy persists, he says that Kim should have told HHH about the commercial. Jimmy replies that she didn't know that he hadn't received permission, but Chuck maintains that the incident reflects poorly on Kim's judgment. She knows you. She should have known better. Jimmy offers to quit the law for good if it will get Kim out of trouble, since taking him up on that bargain would be considered extortion. Chuck refuses to take the bait. Meanwhile, at an abandoned warehouse, Mike meets up with Nacho to advise against killing Tuco Salamanca, predicting that the cartel would eventually track Nacho down. Mike has a different proposition, and Nacho is ready to listen. The next day, Nacho and Tuco, wearing the silver boxing gloves necklace, sit across the table at a restaurant from one of their dealers, Crazy 8, who we know from the earlier episodes of Breaking Bad. He's the guy that Walt had in the basement. He was one of the people that they initially thought they killed, but then didn't, and then Walt ends up killing him. Tuco takes the wad of bills from Crazy 8 and counts them, and then just has a glare at him for simply errant bill being back to front. So I'm a big stickler for money being faced properly, so that would annoy the shit out of me. Now, I wouldn't want to kill anybody over it, but I want all the money faced the right way and not upset, turned around and different. Yeah, I would get annoyed by that. Nacho recounts the money, and Tuco stares pointedly at Crazy 8 for an uncomfortably long time, but eventually allows him to leave. As he does, Tuco snorts a hit of crystal meth. Mike uses a payphone to call the police anonymously, reporting that a man is threatening another man with a gun at the restaurant. He then gets into his car and drives across the street and pulls into the restaurant parking lot, deliberately nudging the front bumper of Tuco's car. Tuco sees this and confronts Mike as he walks in and orders food. Mike denies hitting Tuco's car and leaves after paying for the food. Tuco and Nacho follow Mike out to the parking lot and demand payment for the damage to Tuco's car. Mike offers to swap insurance information, but Tuco declines. He wants cash. Mike claims to only have a few dollars on him, but Tuco calls out the lie, having seen the money in his wallet when he was paying for the food. Flashing his gun, he forces Mike to hand over his wallet. As Mike does go through this, the sirens of police cars responding to his 911 call begin to show up in the distance, and Nacho hops into his van and drives off with the drug money, but Mike grabs Tuco by his shirt so that he can't escape, and then Mike effortlessly disarms Tuco, so Tuco starts punching him in the face. Tuco lands 5 punches before the police arrive and demand they stop fighting. Mike taunts Tuco so that he will continue the assault, and Tuco laughs and promptly decks Mike, knocking him out cold. And then sometime later, Mike meets Nacho to collect his payment. He shares that Tuco faces roughly 5 to 10 years in jail for assault, armed robbery, for being in possession of Mike's wallet, and possession of an illegal firearm. Nacho hands Mike $25,000 and asks why didn't he just kill Tuco. he would have earned the full $50,000, spared him a nasty beating and potentially being targeted by Tuco after his release. And Mike pockets the money and drives away without answering. And that's what ends this episode of Better Call Saul. So good stuff here. Really good performances. I'm going to score the episode at 8.6 out of 10. And then the standout character of the episode, obviously Jimmy is the standout character of every episode. But Mike obviously did an amazing job here. Came up with a different plan to at least get Tuco put away for at least 5 years, so that worked out. So Mike is the character of the episode. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Better Call Saul, or Breaking Bad, or even El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button. Otherwise, I'm going to have Tuco show up and smash you. I'm just kidding. No threats here. Share the video with a friend that likes Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, or El Camino. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are regarding this episode of Better Call Saul. What would you rate it, and whom would be your character of the episode? Remember to click right here for my Better Call Saul Season 6 reviews. If you've already seen every single episode of Better Call Saul, there's my Breaking Bad stuff, my Breaking Bad playlist, and then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special, and you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.